Welcome to The Missing Piece. Today I'm joined by Rachel Ward, a psychiatric nurse practitioner and a good friend, and someone who has lived the very experience we're about to dive into. This episode is for anyone who has known something was wrong with their body, gone from doctor to doctor looking for answers, and have been told it's all in their head. That it's just anxiety, that they're fine. Rachel was there. She got seriously ill. The medical system failed her, and she kept getting worse. Today, she's on the other side of that, and she's here to talk about what she learned and what clients who are living this right now actually need to hear. As always, this podcast is for therapists who wants to learn more as we put our heads together to figure out some difficult cases, but also for those listeners out there that have felt dismissed, unheard, or like your body is a mystery no one wants to solve. This conversation is going to matter to you. Have a listen. Welcome to The Missing Piece, cracking therapy's toughest cases. I'm your host, Helene Bust, and I'm a licensed professional counselor. Thank you so much for being here to just share your story with us and your expertise. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here.
Well, Rachel is a board-certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, quite a mouthful, and the founder of Something Human Mental Health here in Portland, Oregon. Rachel's approach to psychiatry is truly unique. She specializes in short-term stabilization for patients with complex histories. The exact people who have been told their cases are too complex by other clinicians, maybe, or who have cycled through providers without success. Now, to me, she is truly a kindred spirit because, like myself, she loves to solve puzzles, right?
Yes.
So do you want to maybe say a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah. I mean, I think you summed it well. It's really a joy to see when people have struggled for years and years and then see them finally have the diagnostic or the medication or the lifestyle change, the relationship change, whatever it needs to be for them, and put that last little piece together and help them to achieve their highest self. There's nothing greater.
I agree. No, I agree 100% with that. So, Rachel, we're talking about a mystery illness. Now, I read on your blog that you had debilitating symptoms for over a decade. You lost 40 pounds from vomiting, developing hives. You were repeatedly told by doctors that was stress and anxiety. Can you tell us a little bit more about that experience? That sounds really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's multiple factors, multiple places where the journey was hard. But the first time that I went in, I went to see multiple doctors. We were at MIT, and supposed to be some of the best doctors in the world.
Absolutely.
And I, and endoscopies, all kinds of things. And at the end of the day, the doctor told me it was anxiety. So that sent me on a journey of treating anxiety, being on mood stabilizers, all kinds of things, and never really actually having success in treating anxiety.
Because it wasn't that.
It wasn't anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah. And I had all kinds of nebulous physical symptoms. It was really, joint pain, GI problems, cycling. Is this IBS? We don't know. Finally, that started to escalate after I was actually a COVID nurse.
Oh, you were? I did not know that.
Yeah. In 2020, I was ventilator trained and I was working in the hospital. And
Really?
So I was voluntold to the COVID unit at OHSU. And my husband got laid off.
Oh my goodness.
And so we ended up going travel nursing, and we did COVID chasing for a whole year, went across the country, did all kinds of things.
Yeah. I did not know about this. Wow.
Which was wonderful for my family, but created a lot of trauma for me.
Oh, I'm sure.
And subsequent to that trauma, my immune system just collapsed. And I got continuous hives that just wouldn't go away. I did get in to see an allergist, and we did testing, and I got on to Xolair, which is an immune stabilizer, supposed to help with idiopathic anaphylaxis and hives. And I stabilized for a month or two, and then started to get worse, progressively worse, to where I couldn't leave my house. I was having difficulty breathing all the time. And then I kept having recurrent anaphylaxis, and I couldn't really figure out what was going on. And then finally had an appointment where I was in the allergist office, and they administered the Xolair injection, and I had anaphylaxis to the Xolair. And for better or for worse, my allergist, she saved my life. If I had gone to the hospital, I would have died, because I'm allergic to polysorbate 80, which is in Xolair, but it's also in IV solution. And so, before it was figured out, and before I had gone and done the research to figure out everything that polysorbate's in, that would have, it almost killed me, and I was came very close.
Oh my goodness! Wow, what an experience!
Yeah. So, but then following that, she put the pieces together and found the source of the allergen, which is very difficult. Most people who have an MCAS, they don't ever really figure out what the source of the allergen is. And a lot of times their immune system gets so sensitized that really they're allergic to everything in their environment. Wow. And that's where I was at that time. I became so sensitized that I didn't leave my house for an entire year, except for to go to doctor appointments. My husband's an engineer, and he designed me a positive pressure face mask so that I could leave the house to go to my doctor appointments.
Oh, it was that bad that you could literally not go to doctor appointments.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, really hard. We got rid of everything in our house. And the other really limiting part is your immune system gets so sensitized that even things that aren't the primary allergen, you start to react to. So I had 12 safe foods, and that's including salt and pepper. And I was very limited, I would say. And so I went on a journey. I think a lot of times, as I treat patients with MCAS or immune disorders, like how the reason I'm here is because of my medical knowledge and sheer force of will. I always joke.
Oh, sure. I've heard about that, Will. I've seen it, actually.
But I sat down crying with my mother-in-law, and we made this huge spreadsheet of all the things that I was reactive to, and cross-reactive, and what I possibly could be reactive to, and just waited. So when your immune system is that sensitized, you have to have 100% avoidance and wait for it to calm down. My allergist would say, like, emptying out of the bucket.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? And then slowly put it back one by one. It was an arduous process. And for a while, I would have anaphylaxis like once a week by accident. Oh my goodness, you must be carrying EpiPens with you everywhere you go then.
Yeah, I do. I have my R2D2 backpack, actually.
Let me see that.
It's full of EpiPens.
Oh, that is so cool. Full of EpiPens.
Full of EpiPens.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the turning point actually was, and because the problem is that polysorbate is not regulated by our government very well. It's all over the place. It's not required to be listed on anything. And even like organic fruits and vegetables the wax can have polysorbate, or if somebody had it on their hand in a lotion and they touched it in the store. So this is why I was having reactions all the time. And I was like, and I was watching a documentary about bomb dogs in the airport.
Bomb dogs. Oh, that sniffs out
the bombs. And I was like, I need a bomb dog.
Ha.
I need a bomb dog.
It
Yeah.
makes sense, right? Because it's literally a bomb and you don't know when it's going to go off.
And you don't know when it's going to go off. That's exactly right. Yeah. So, but the problem was at that point I was so sensitized that I couldn't even have a dog. So I had to get well enough that I could have a dog in the first place.
Well, that brings us to Molly.
And that brings us to Molly. Yeah.
She has Molly here with us.
Yeah.
And she is just a beautiful dog.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about that, how all that worked out once your body was stable enough to get a dog.
Yeah.
Because you were also allergic then to anything.
Animals.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was able to get well enough with complete avoidance of everything. And I called around, because this isn't a thing that people do, is to train for allergen detection.
Oh, it isn't?
No. So I called probably, 50 trainers, all in the Pacific Northwest and California, asking, do you think that you could train a dog to do this?
Wow.
Yeah.
And you found
And I found somebody that his name's Tristan. He works with Charlo Training. And he trains the epilepsy dogs at OHSU. And he said it's a similar skill. He said, actually, I think it would be easier because it's like a princess. Like rather than having to find it in the environment, you present the things to her. And he calls it princess work.
Oh, that's so cool. Yes, I've seen you do that, how you present the foods to her and she will
she smells it. Yeah. And so that was the turning point for me, is when Molly got good enough at detecting polysorbate, then I was able to 100% avoid it. And then I just got better from there.
Wow.
So.
Well, Rachel, how do people do this without a dog? It seems impossible.
It is impossible.
Wow.
I mean, if your primary allergen is something that you can see, then you could theoretically avoid it.
Yes, there's peanuts. I shouldn't be eating those. Right?
Yeah. Well, even peanuts is hard because, if you get it on your hands and then you touch a doorknob and then it's like, so if you can imagine, then your system is on full alert at all times, and the trauma from that is very intense.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like the nervous system.
The nervous system is so sensitized, hypervigilant all the time, just to keep you alive.
Exactly, because it's a PTSD reaction, really, right? As your body has felt it, knew it almost died, and now is really scared of it. Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So to answer your question about the mental health part that earlier on, talking about anxiety, I had to go off all of my medications during this time because we didn't know what...
one of it was causing it.
Yeah, what was causing it. So I had gone off of the anxiety medications in the meantime. And I finished my graduate school at home during that time.
Oh, you did.
And I started my practice. When I got to the place where I could also control my environment there.
Yes.
And then I started using this software to test for ADHD. And I had one of my patients, she took the test and she goes, Rachel, that is the most terrible thing that you're doing to people ever. You should take it.
You should feel how it feels.
Yeah, you should feel how it feels.
Okay.
So I took it, and lo and behold, I had severe ADHD.
Really? On top of everything else?
Well, speaking of medical gaslighting and all these things, getting told that you have anxiety.
Yes. And nobody ever thought to say, would you take a test for ADHD?
Nobody. And in fact, when I went to my prescriber and I said, look, I have this, I have data, objective data that I have ADHD. He said, you don't have ADHD.
No. Oh my goodness. Yes, it's gaslighting.
It's gaslighting.
It's like you don't know what you're talking about. And this, you being actually a medical professional yourself. So that, to me, is a little bit of like, maybe we should really listen to this woman if she says she thinks she has it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I took stimulants for the first time, and my anxiety went away.
Really? Wow. Yes, and we will talk more about that and when I see you next, but it's amazing to me that this is the one thing I could not understand. I was like, Okay, so somebody with anxiety using a stimulant just seems so wrong. How could that possibly do it? Right? You're
Yep.
thinking about,
Yep.
we're thinking about benzos and
Yep.
stuff. And so, and you discovering even that piece of the equation has helped so many of your patients, right? Just to realize, well, actually, if you have neurodivergence, this could help you.
It could help.
This is different,
a lot.
Right? Meds actually work different with the brain.
Completely different in a neurodivergent brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to hear all about that for sure. We'll
have to talk about that's a whole other different topic.
Definitely, yes. No, we will. Well, I want to just bring us back a little bit to what we just said about the gaslighting. So this is definitely something I've experienced, not in myself, but some of my clients actually, they come from a lot of, just like you, they've been actually doctor hopping, if you will, and try and figure out what is wrong with me, and just hear over and over again, it's all in your head. It's anxiety. You should see a therapist, right? And then that's how they end with me. And many of them, I asked them, what do you think? What do you believe? And they would say, I don't think I'm crazy. There is something not right in my body. Right. And so I believe them. And so I would help them advocate for themselves and stuff like that. But then there is always that component where I'm wondering, am I doing them a disservice because maybe there is some somatic symptoms? And sometimes I feel like that actual gaslighting and stuff caused somatic symptoms, So now it's a complex thing. Now it's really something physiological in their bodies that's not been discovered yet. And then the psychological component on top of that.
Yes.
So that is so difficult. You being at both sides of this, being a clinician for patients coming with something like this, and then also going through it yourself. How do you handle this?
Well, the first thing I always tell people is that somatic symptoms are physical symptoms. It's just that the healing happens via the brain, typically. And I detest the idea that, I even hate the word psychosomatic, but detest the idea that it's all in your head, because it's not. There is a certain extent where it's healed in the mind, but that's top-down processing. Right.
Yes.
Like if we're talking about polyvagal therapy, that's top-down processing, and that is only going to get you part of the way. And usually, especially in like high masking women who are very intelligent, they're going to be they are able to intellectualize and tell you every single thing about their body and their mind and everything that's going on. They tend to be very hyper aware and know themselves actually quite well, but they are not seated and rooted in their body. And this is where the feeling, the somatic symptoms are coming from. And so the key is actually to help people come into their body.
Yes.
And there's many, many ways to approach that. But it's, A, symptoms are symptoms, regardless of where they originate. And B, the therapy is also release in the body, not just release in the mind.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You've said a lot there that my head is spinning, but it's, I totally agree. Because if we think about the body keeps the score. That book goes around, everybody knows about that. And it is held in our bodies for sure. But what you just said makes a lot of sense to me. I have a lot of intelligent women, specifically clients, who are... well, I call it their floating head, because they literally are living in their heads and they're not in touch with their bodies.
Exactly right.
And so it's like a whole process of realizing, if I ask them, we do EMDR and I'm asking, where do you feel in your body? And they're like,
they can't tell you. Yeah.
I don't know. So I even give them a list. I'm like, any of these? And even then it's hard for them sometimes to
struggle. Yeah.
I want to come back also for a second to the whole thing when you were saying like psychosomatic, how you detest it, right?
Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying, because for me, it really makes me angry that there's still such a stigma surrounding all that stuff.
That's right.
It's huge. And yet the brain is the final frontier of the human body. We just not really know all the things, but it's part of the body. So even if there's something wrong in your mind, it's still in your brain. It's still part of who you are, right? It's almost like people want to chop it off and
Separate,
say,
yeah.
yes, and say,
Psychosomatic is like the modern word for hysteria.
it is. And the gaslighting that goes with it, right?
Yeah.
You are right. The hysteria of the old. But no, I can see that for sure. And it's really difficult if you trust your doctors, you trust your clinicians, the medical system, you want to, and yet something like that is being said to you. Would you think it would be better in a case like that for a clinician to say, let's do a wraparound thing where we also get a therapist or psychiatrist on board and we deal with all the things because they all interact?
Well, and that's usually about what I do.
Okay.
So I usually do very intense medical screening. The question I ask is, tell me every medical thing that's happened to you, even if you think it's not important.
Wow. Yes.
Because a lot of times, like a perfect example is hay fever. People will be like, oh, yeah, I have seasonal allergies. They're not going to tell their doctor about that because they think it's not important. Okay, but actually, if you're having seasonal allergies, that means you're having discharge of your mast cells in that season. And then when your mast cells degranulate or explode, you're dumping all your neurotransmitters that are held within the mast cells out into your blood space. Those are metabolized, and then now you start to become anxious and depressed during those seasonal changes.
Wow. And then it's, what do we call it? There's a
sad.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Word for it. Seasonal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seasonal. Yeah. Affective disorder.
So, yes.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, any medical thing that seems, even if it seems unimportant. I mean, if there's GI stuff, maybe they're having like bowel things that are going on all the time. If you think about the gut-brain axis and the importance of how much serotonin is 90% of your serotonin is manufactured in the gut.
Yes, I've heard that. I've read that recently, actually. Wow.
Yeah. And so, okay. So going through the whole physical body of symptoms, but then adding on, people must have a therapist. They must have a therapist to build skills and increase distress tolerance.
Okay.
But they must also be working with their body in some way, whether that's massage or yoga or sexuality or in some way that moves the body, lubricates the fascia, and moves that trauma out of the body.
Exactly. Yes, that is so important, right? In fact, yoga is evidence-based treatment for trauma.
Exactly.
And but also all the other things. I've really seen clients use things such as rock climbing,
dancing,
weight training, dancing. Almost in everything where you also have to have the left brain involved, right?
Yeah,
because
bidirectional. You have to be moving across the midline.
Exactly.
Bidirectional movement. Yeah.
Yes. Like EMDR 2.0 that I use often in clients where if somebody comes in and they just had a sexual assault. So I get sometimes clients as soon as the day after, government organization that I'm teamed up with that send them to me. And that I have to use EMDR 2.0. We can't even go there. They can't think about it right now. Their bodies are so activated.
Yeah.
So, and a way to start taking it out of the body is literally connecting the left brain and do something with the body as well, So I tell them to do something as simple as hold ice cubes in your hands while you're counting backwards in make it hard, threes from 99, you know, and to just focus in and feel something in your body. But like you said, more activity is even better.
Yeah.
Right? The more you can do while you're thinking, like dancing. I love that. Dancing's a good one.
Cleaning. This is why rage cleaning is all the rage.
It's a thing. Yes.
It's bidirectional movement. It's putting your environment to rights.
I never thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. And I do it all the time.
Yes, everybody does.
That is so funny. Yes, of course. That's what it does, right?
Yeah. It's very good for the brain. Yeah.
Yes, we have to talk definitely more about crossing the line,
Midline, crossing the midline.
Midline crossing. I want to hear more about that. I want to bring us back a little bit to one word that you used that actually I think most people like myself have no idea what you said, and that is the mast cells. Could you say more about that?
Mast cells. Oh, those darn mast cells. Okay. So mast cells, the immune system, I've been to a lot of school to understand the body. But even after I was diagnosed, I found that I really was deficient in knowledge of the immune system, because our immune system, I think the immune system is as complex as the brain. Wow. Maybe more, I don't know. Wow. That might just be because I've studied the brain more. But anyway, mast cells are one component, and they're located in all of your tissues, actually along your meridian points. If you're familiar with acupuncture, acupuncture works by stimulating mast cells. Oh wow! So mast cells, their function is essentially to be a little balm in your body. They're full of pro-inflammatory things, which is good. You want inflammation, like in the case of a fever, or when you're cut, you need that inflammatory response in order to release the fibrinogens to heal. And when you are ill, you want inflammation. Yes. There's many different types of mast cell disorders, but essentially, the mast cells can become sensitized to something in the environment. And like in the case of allergies, for example, they may become sensitized to peanuts. And then when you come in contact with the peanuts, they degranulate or explode and release all of their pro-inflammatory elements. But the thing that really blew my mind in terms of psychiatry is that inside of your mast cells contain all of the neurotransmitters that are also in the brain. So if you think about that throughout your whole body, if you're just dumping norepinephrine out into your body randomly, you're going to have trouble with your blood pressure suddenly. That's why you have blood pressure responses when you're having anaphylaxis. And I mean, there's so many different implications to the mast cells and mental health. But
really just those little bombs going off everywhere in your body. And there's also a link to the brain then, of course.
Yeah. Wow. And there's also a link. There was a huge groundbreaking study, meta-analysis, Cochrane Review meta-analysis in 2020 about mast cells connecting chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, POTS, mast cell disorders. There was like 20 that are in this category, and autism.
Autism is in there. Wow. That's fascinating.
Yes. We could talk about that for a long time, but yeah.
We will. We're coming back to that. All of that. Yes. Well, it is so fascinating just picking your brain. Rachel, you're a super smart person, and I love picking your brain. I do want to ask something emotional here as well, coming back to some of the emotional aspects of being gaslit, having an illness like this. This podcast, I'm creating to help other therapists, hopefully, and other clinicians to find that missing piece. But I think sometimes we're just not sensitive enough to find the piece. There's something going on, and it's so much easier to just blame it on this or that instead of staying with our client and keep on helping them find new pathways to reach that place where they know what's going on with them. Because I've seen some of my clients just the incredible self-doubt, the incredible pain of like something is wrong with me and nobody can find it. So can you speak a little bit more about that, just to, give other clinicians an idea of what it feels like on the other end of this?
I think as clinicians, we hold a sacred space. And if someone is coming to us because they're experiencing pain, regardless of where that pain is originating, it's our duty to maintain fortitude.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think about the level of trust that it requires to come and tell another person that you're suffering.
Yeah.
Especially somebody you've never met before.
Yes, that's true.
And so it's important that we as clinicians treat that with the sacredness that it holds.
Yeah.
And and continue forward until we find the solution.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. It is a sacred space, and unfortunately, not everybody sees it as that. You know, it can so easily just become a job, something I do. But and I see it a lot, especially in burnout in physicians or clinicians. You know, it's like they're just so burnt out, so much work, which bring us to having to take care of yourself, right? And so I'm wondering how you did all of this, like healing from all this, and then starting something human mental health. By the way, love that name for your business. Starting that, you said it was helpful to you in a way because now you could control your environment, right? To make sure it's not full of all these allergens. But it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with, you know? And so probably hard because you also have 4 children. It's not like you go home and there's no challenges, right? It is a lot. I'm wondering if you can speak to that a little bit, maybe even give people hope out there that it can be done, and what you did, you know?
Yeah, I want to create a little pause around the statement because I have done a lot. And I've also recently been in a season of learning to slow down. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. As the next stage of healing is to take it easy. Yeah. And so, like, yes, I've done a lot, and I've started a company, and I had a lot of kids, and all those things. And there are healing can look a lot of ways. It doesn't need to look the way that I did it.
What do you mean by that?
Each person's journey is unique.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for the people that did cross your path that were actually really empathetic clinicians, right? That helped you in the end figure this thing out, because you did. You actually, with other people that helped you, saved your own life here by figuring it out.
I don't know that I found empathetic clinicians to help me.
You didn't?
No.
Wow. That is a hard thing to hear.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not alone.
Yeah.
I've definitely had some of my clients say, I do not trust the medical profession at all anymore.
Yeah.
I will not go see a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And I want to encourage them, well, let's try more things. Let's go to OHSU.
Yeah.
Something so we can figure this out. And they're just terrified of doctors at this point, or really hurt, really angry, you know.
Well, and that's why I opened my clinic, actually. We approach care so differently there. And I wanted to create the space that I couldn't find.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason, you know, we have a couple other clinicians there, and why I hold the space for the complex case stabilization, because when you're a provider, there's kind of a balancing. When you're a provider, the clinic needs to make money at the end of the day.
Right.
Like we have to feed our families too.
Right. It's a business.
It's a business. Yeah. And so somebody has to hold the space where you're doing appointments, right? And if everybody is the moneymaker, if everybody is holding that space and turning things through quickly, there's nobody to hold the space for complexity, because complexity takes time.
It does.
It takes a lot of time.
And time is money.
And time is money.
Right.
Yeah. And so we don't make as much money as we could, I guess, but that's not what I value.
Right.
Healing happens in that space, and you can't have healing if you also have speed. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And in the same sense, then calming your client down to let's take it slow. Tell me everything. Tell me everything you think is maybe not even important, like you said before, right? And and just taking the time to be there for them. It's really important. I see it as a therapist all the time. Sometimes I have to let the next client know that I've got to bump them a little bit because this client needs more than I can give them in an hour.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and healing doesn't happen on a clock, you know?
It doesn't. Exactly. It doesn't. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And I have some experience with your clinic. And yes, I can say truly what you said is true. It feels like a place where people are heard, where, and we'll talk more about, my daughter actually has gone to your clinic and she had the same kind of puzzle piece missing. And you actually helped us find that, which is amazing. So I'm so glad you started that clinic. I'm so glad that you hold that space for people of, we're going to find it. It's all relevant, right? None of this is just something that doesn't matter. I'm going to listen. Yeah. And maybe a word for clinicians out there. What would you say?
I would say find the thing that brings you joy to come to work, because then you'll have the energy to continue like a dog with a bone.
Right. Yeah, we need the resilience ourselves.
The resilience, yeah. But then also creating a lot of space for yourself outside of work, because the healing can't happen if you can't provide that space for somebody if you haven't already provided it for yourself first.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yes, something I'm still struggling with is to calm things down and also take the time to rest. And so we will definitely have to talk more about that.
Yeah.
For sure. So many topics that we want to cover, Rachel.
Yeah,
so many.
yeah.
Well, I'm so grateful for you just being here today and just talking to me about this. I think it's a very emotional topic, that of a mystery illness where there's just no answers. A heavy topic too, you know. And so thank you for just giving us a little bit of a look on both sides of the desk, you know, if you will, both sides. That was actually super interesting and helpful. And I hope to have you back here. Thank you again so much. It's a big topic and I appreciate that, Rachel.
Yeah, happy to be.
Well, you guys who are listening, you can find Rachel's blog post about her journey. Wonderful blog post. She's a good writer. It's totally worth reading. Learn more about her practice at somethinghumanhealth.com, right? Somethinghumanhealth.com. And I will provide links for all of that in the show notes below. And until next time, I'm Helene Wust, and this is The Missing Piece. Thank you for joining me. I'm Helene Wust, and this is The Missing Piece.